We were promised that 2025 would be a year of stability, a year of recovery. We were told that the world was settling into a predictable rhythm. But beneath the surface of the nightly news, behind the veil of classified servers and sealed briefings, the year 2025 was anything but normal. It was the year the timeline broke. It began quietly, not with a bang, but with a series of impossible anomalies scattered across the American continent and its surrounding waters. 7 distinct discoveries. At first glance, they appeared unrelated, isolated glitches in the fabric of reality. But within hours of the first finding, the U.S. intelligence community realized the terrifying truth. These were not random events, they were connected. They were linked by a single, recurring geometric symbol that defies any known language or mathematical constant. The response was immediate and brutal. The National Security Agency initiated Protocol Silent Horizon. Within 6 hours, 5 of these discoveries were classified under a clearance level higher than the president. 2 of them were physically erased, scrubbed from digital archives, satellite logs, and public consciousness as if they never happened. Eyewitnesses were silenced, data centers were wiped. But they missed something. In the chaos of the cover-up, a fractured network of insiders, geologists, naval officers, and data analysts managed to smuggle the raw files out. What you are about to hear is based on those leaked dossiers. Together, these 7 discoveries do not just rewrite the history books, they burn them. They suggest that our reality is not what we think it is. They raise a single, terrifying question that the government is desperate to keep you from asking. What were we being protected from? The first anomaly appeared in the high desert of Utah, in a canyon sector that has not appeared on public maps since the Cold War. A team of contracted geologists was conducting a deep strata mineral survey, drilling 40 feet into the red sandstone. They expected iron deposits. Instead, their drill bit shattered against something harder than diamond. They excavated the site by hand. Embedded in the rock, surrounded by undisturbed geological layers dating back 10 million years, was a cube. It was perfectly smooth, vantablack, and roughly the size of a human head. It had no seams, no temperature. It felt neither cold nor hot to the touch. It simply was. But when they shone a high-intensity laser into its surface, the interior of the cube illuminated. Inside, suspended in the glass-like material, was a vertical spiral of microscopic ridges. It looked like a phonograph record, but 3-dimensional and infinite. According to the leaked field report, one of the geologists placed a digital vibration sensor against the surface. The cube wasn't silent, it was playing. It was audio. But it wasn't a recording of the past. It wasn't a message from an ancient civilization. The audio file, when processed and amplified, lasted exactly 6 seconds. It was a voice, synthetic, yet unmistakably urgent, reciting a string of numbers, coordinates, latitude and longitude, and a timestamp. The timestamp was 12 hours into the future. The geologists thought it was a prank, a glitch in their equipment. They recorded the coordinates. 12 hours later, exactly to the second discovery on this list was made at that precise location. The cube in Utah was not a time capsule, it was a receiver, and it was broadcasting the schedule of an event that had already started. The U.S. military arrived 40 minutes after the audio was decoded. They sealed the canyon with concrete. They told the geologists they had found a pocket of toxic gas, but the leaked report contains a note from the site commander saying the object is not broadcasting anymore. It is listening. 12 hours after the Utah cube spoke, the second anomaly manifested exactly where the coordinates predicted, deep in the Sonoran Desert, Arizona. This was not a small object. This was a scar on the face of the earth. Overnight, a symbol 300 meters wide appeared on the desert floor. It wasn't painted, it wasn't dug. Analysis of the soil revealed that the sand had been fused into obsidian glass. But here's the impossibility. The heat source came from underneath. Satellite imagery from 24 hours prior showed an empty desert. No trucks, no construction equipment. No heat signatures were detected by orbital thermal cameras. The symbol simply pushed its way up from the crust, boiling the sand into glass in an instant, yet leaving the surrounding brush unburned. The shape was complex, a broken circle intersected by 3 sharp, angular lines. To the media, this would have been dismissed as elaborate land art, but to the Defense Intelligence Agency, it was a nightmare realized. The leaked files include a scan of a restricted briefing document dated 1974, codenamed Project Starfire. In the margins of this 50-year-old document is a hand-drawn sketch. It matches the Arizona symbol perfectly. The 1974 document labels the symbol Event Pattern Omega Arc. The text is heavily redacted, but one warning remains clearly visible, typed in red ink. It says, "This geometry represents a localized failure of physical laws. If it returns, do not engage. Evacuate the hemisphere." The Arizona glyph was not art. It was a warning label, and whatever Omega Arc represents, the government has known about it for half a century. They just prayed it wouldn't come back. While the desert was burning from below, the ocean was breaking. 40 miles off the coast of California, a group of big-wave surfers were filming a documentary. The water was calm. Then, without seismic warning, the ocean began to boil. The footage, which the U.S. Navy has spent millions of dollars trying to discredit as CGI, shows a landmass rising violently from the deep. It wasn't rock. It was a perfect, matte black circle of stone, slick with algae, rising 200 feet into the air. It hovered there for 10 seconds. The surfers described a sound like tearing metal, a sound so loud that it caused nosebleeds. And then, the physics of the world inverted. The island didn't sink. It folded. The footage captures the stone bending inward, like a piece of paper being crumpled by an invisible hand. It folded in on itself, defying the resistance of solid matter, compressing into a smaller and smaller point until it simply blinked out of existence. But the horror didn't end with the disappearance. For 3 straight minutes after the island vanished, the ocean waves didn't crash. They were pulled toward the center of where the island had been. Gravity itself seemed to be flowing into a drain in the sky. The Navy confiscated the surfers' cameras within an hour of their return to shore. They claimed it was a hydrothermal vent eruption. But technical analysis of the surviving cloud backup metadata shows no thermal spike. It shows a gravitational anomaly so massive it should have pulled the moon out of orbit. Something punched a hole in our dimension off the coast of California, and then it sealed the door. The 4th discovery takes us from the open ocean to the claustrophobic depths of the Earth. In a coal mine in West Virginia, operating at a depth of 2,000 feet, a blasting crew exposed a pocket of air that had been sealed for 200,000 years. Inside the pocket, lying on a slab of limestone, was a skeleton. This creates an immediate problem for anthropology. Humans, Homo sapiens, were not in West Virginia 200,000 years ago. But that is the least of the problems. The skeleton was extracted and brought to a private biological research facility in Virginia. The leaked autopsy report describes the findings as biologically incompatible with decay. The bones were not fossilized. They still contained marrow. They still contained DNA. When they ran the genetic sequencing, the technicians froze. The DNA showed zero genetic degradation, no telomere shortening, no mutations. If the tests are correct, this skeleton is biologically identical to a human living today, specifically a human in their prime. It matches you, cell for cell. But it was buried under mountains of rock before the first ice age. And then they looked at the skull. Carved directly into the frontal bone of the forehead, not etched, but grown into the bone structure itself, was a raised ridge, a symbol. It was the phoenix glyph, the same symbol that burned itself into the Arizona desert. This implies something that terrified the scientists involved. It suggests that this symbol is not just a marking, it is a biological brand. And whoever or whatever this human was, they belonged to a system that existed long before recorded history. They were marked by the Omega Arc. While the biologists were staring at an impossible skeleton, the signals intelligence officers in Nevada were listening to an impossible noise. Sensors near the infamous Area 51 facility picked up a high-frequency pulse erupting from the ground. Not from a base, not from a bunker, from the bedrock itself. It wasn't random static, it was a digital metronome. Pulse, pulse, pulse. The signal repeats every 4 seconds. Cryptographers analyzed the carrier wave and found that it isn't transmitting mathematics or language, it is transmitting raw data, specifically GPS coordinates. 7 sets of coordinates. The first set pointed to Utah, the second to Arizona, the third to California, the fourth to West Virginia. The signal was listing the discoveries in real time. But the most disturbing detail lies in the silence. Between each pulse, there is a 0.4-second gap of dead air. Or so they thought. When analysts stretched that 0.4 seconds of silence out, slowing it down by a factor of 10,000, they realized it wasn't silence. It was data, compressed beyond the theoretical limits of current technology. It was terabytes of information crammed into a fraction of a second. We can't decode it. Our computers crash when they try to unzip the file. But the sheer density of the information suggests that this isn't just a beacon, it's a download. Someone or something is uploading a massive operating system into the Earth's atmosphere, and the 7 discoveries are the installation nodes. The 6th discovery was found in the most mundane place imaginable, a construction site in downtown Boston. Excavators were digging up the foundation of a colonial-era house dated to the 1700s. Embedded in the foundation wall, melted into the brick, was a metal coin. Workers thought it was gold. They were wrong. Metallurgical analysis performed at MIT revealed the coin is made of a stable isotope of element 115, a material that does not exist naturally on Earth and degenerates instantly in a lab. Yet here it was, solid, cold, and heavy. The coin depicts the head of a figure that looks human, but perfectly symmetrical, too perfect, like the skeleton in West Virginia. But it is the text on the coin that caused the site to be seized by federal agents. The date stamped on the bottom rim is 2037, and in the center of the coin is the phoenix glyph. But there is a crucial difference. In the Arizona desert, the circle of the glyph was broken. In the 1974 CIA documents, the circle was broken. On the coin from 2037, the circle is complete. The lines connect. The circuit is closed. This object traveled back in time. It was fused into a wall 300 years ago to be found today. It is a message from 12 years in the future, and the message is clear. The Omega Arc will be completed. The cycle will close. The 7th and final discovery is the one that the government fears most. It was not found in the dirt or the water. It was found in the data. A whistleblower from the National Reconnaissance Office released 3 infrared images taken by a classified orbital spy satellite. The location is undisclosed, but the topography suggests a major population center. The images show the bedrock beneath the city. Something is glowing down there. It is a structure, and it is miles wide. Its outline forms the exact shape of the Phoenix glyph. But unlike the Arizona glyph, this one isn't burned into the surface. It is inside the planet, and it is pulsating. The thermal reading is rising. The leaked report contains only one sentence of analysis. The system is waking up. 7 discoveries, 1 symbol, all appearing within weeks. This isn't ancient history. This is system behavior, a pattern that has been dormant until now. The Utah cube was the receiver. The Arizona glyph was the warning. The California anomaly was the test. The skeleton was the prototype. The signal was the network activation. The coin was the proof of completion. And the final structure beneath the city is the engine. We aren't looking at the ruins of a past civilization. We are looking at the startup sequence of a machine that has been here longer than we have. The Omega Arc is not a myth. It is an event. And if the pattern is waking up, we're already too late.